Welcome back. So this is something that gets asked to me all the time when people transfer from one platform to another. And if they're not familiar with how the internet works and how Google search engine works, they can feel like they've lost all of the hard work that they put in over the last couple years building up their SEO, and then all of a sudden their traffic just drops off. Not to worry, there is a way to fix it, and we're going to show you how to do that right now. So this is a question that I get asked from time to time, and it's when people have moved over from another platform and they've lost all their SEO. They hadn't properly planned their migration, and then they've moved over and now they're in trouble. And they've lost all of their links and everything's going crazy. So we are going to show you how to fix that. So the last couple lessons, what we've gone over is we've set up the groundwork so that we can show you how to fix this thing properly. And what has happened is when you've changed between platforms, so if you've gone from WordPress to Shopify and you haven't properly set up your 301 redirects, all of your traffic that used to be there is now gone because they're basically getting 404 errors. Now, if you don't know, a 404 error is an error which means it's a soft bounce. It means basically the page that you were looking for is not there. You still found the website, but the page with the specific content that you were looking for is no longer available. So if we have a look here on our Google Webmaster Tools, this is going to show us after we've transferred over our website whether we have any errors on it. It's also going to show us if we have any 404 errors. Now the 404 errors will come up as soft 404 errors, and it will let us know if we've missed any of the links that used to be pointing to pieces on the website. And this is not that uncommon because websites last over many, many years, and it's possible to switch platforms many times, and as you promote your service or promote your website out on the internet, you're going to be posting these links to different resources. And when you're switching over to a new platform, you might forget a couple of them. You might think some are not important. You might think that they no longer need to exist. But if you want to maintain your SEO rating, you need to give those users a direction on where to go when they find those links throughout the website. So that's what the 301 redirects are for. So I'm going to show you an easy way to fix the problem that you've had with your errors in a very, very quick way. And in probably 3 or 4 days after you go and do this process and Google recrawls your site, your SEO should come back and your traffic should return to what it was before. Okay, so what you want to do is when you go to your errors, you go to submitted 404 errors, it'll pull up what your errors are, and then it'll give you a list of the errors that you have. Now, if you've recently changed platforms and you have not set up your 301 redirects, you are going to notice a huge amount of errors in here. It's going to have an error pretty much for every single page that you used to have on your website. So it's important that you export these and update these to a new piece. So what you want to do is you want to click on the Export Data button here and download the CSV file. What it's going to do is it's going to go and download it, and then you can go and open that up in Excel. So I'm going to open that up in Excel. All right, so because it only had one error, we're just going to use this for the example. But basically what we're going to do is we're going to create 2 columns. So the URL, this is the previous URL. Then we're going to delete the B column because we're not going to need the date, but we're going to change this to redirect to. Now, if we go over to Shopify here, let's just jump over to our Shopify site. And we're going to go to Online Store, and then we're going to go to those navigations and the redirects, which we covered in the previous video when we went over 301 redirects. So we're going to go to URL redirects, and then we're going to go to Export. We're going to just export the current ones there so that we have a sample file so that we know what we can go and fill in for the one that came from Google. So we can go export redirects. I believe the other way you can do it too is if you go to import, you can download a sample CSV file too. So I'm going to actually download the sample CSV file. I'm going to open this one up in Excel as well. So we can see that there's 2 columns that we're going to need. We're going to need the redirect from, so this is the previous website that used to be there, or the previous URL, sorry. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to redirect it to. So this is where the new one is going to go to. So our old one here, we have this old location, Actually, we're going to do our own old location here because this is a report from a website that is not on Shopify. So I'm going to delete this one here. Let's go in here. We're going to redirect from, just as a sample, we're going to call this sample.html because this is possibly a website that we had set up. Then we're going to redirect that to pages-sample. Yeah, perfect. And then we're going to save this Excel file. So we're going to go in File, save this. Let's go to the desktop, imports, save it as imports. We want to keep it as a comma separated value because that's what Shopify is going to recognize. And then when we go to imports, we can go choose file and we can select that import file. So the most important thing to do when you're updating the locations of those files, now if you have a bunch of URLs, most people will just basically redirect them to the home page. That is not the best way to do it. You can do it if it's in a pinch and it's something that you need to do, but the best way to do it is to actually redirect it to the content that matches the content on the new site. So if you have a page that talks about your shipping and you have a frequently asked questions page, instead of redirecting the old frequently asked questions page to just the home page and letting the user find it, it's better to redirect it to the new frequently asked questions. This is going to maintain your SEO because when Google goes and crawls your website, it's going to be looking for those keywords that it found on the previous site. So you want to make sure that it finds those keywords on the new site. And if it finds a different site, it's going to mess everything. It's not going to give you the same kind of impact that you used to have. Then hit upload file. It'll go through and it'll give you an example of what it's going to import. It's going to import the old sample.html and it's going to go to pages.sample. So we're going to import this redirect and it's going to say import is in progress. It's going to give us a summary of how things are going to look as it's going, and then it's going to tell us when it's finished that it's been imported. We can go view all redirects and we can see now sample here and sample pages has now been installed. Once you've gone and done that, that's step one. Once you've fixed all the errors, now what we need to do is we need to go back over to Google and we need to tell them to recrawl the site. Google will naturally recrawl the site every 2 or 3 days depending on what you have your recrawl settings set to, which is done in the robot.txt file. But if we are in a crisis situation and we need to get our traffic back, we want to tell Google that we have fixed the problems and it's now time for them to go verify it again. So what I want to do is you want to go back over to coverage, and you want to go at the top and you want to hit validate fix. Once you hit the validate fix button, Google will then go and recrawl the site, look at those old URLs, find the 301 redirects that we just set up, and then it will fix it and you'll now have a website that looks like it has no more errors on it. Thank you guys for coming by. I hope this information was helpful for you. Don't forget to hit the like and the subscribe button. Make sure that you hit that bell button so that you get a notification every time that I upload a new video, and we will see you guys in the next one.